Today we're going to talk about why people are getting priced out of paradise, Tahoe and Hawaii, and how to combat that as a local. If you're somebody that wants to live there and sustain yourself full-time, how you can do that.
Yeah.
I did that. I moved to Tahoe 8 years ago, and I have created a life in Tahoe. I'm going to talk about that. Jena used to live in Tahoe. She moved out of Tahoe because of some of the cost of living, but also some other factors. So we're going to get into that. So Jena, talk about your story. You grew up in Tahoe. Why did you move?
Yeah. So my name is Jena Lanini. I'm a real estate agent with Coldwell Banker, and I currently live in South Reno. I grew up in Tahoe, born and raised here, born in the Truckee Hospital, lived here my whole life, went to college in San Francisco. And when I moved back, after being here, managing a restaurant and really being a part of, what tourism cities, tourism towns, islands, whatever, what that really looks like for folks living here, working here, and making that beautiful life come true for people when they visit. I got to do that firsthand in the hospitality industry. And although I loved it, and I think it's such a great gift of what I do now, like being able to work well with people in public, it's difficult, and you become, that backside of the beauty that people don't necessarily see when they visit. And I go to Hawaii all the time, so we do that, right? We see these beautiful places, but I think sometimes we can forget who is behind the scenes to make these places so desirable. So for me, it was a lot of factors. I mean, at that point, I obviously wasn't buying a house when I was 21, 22 in Tahoe. But really it became an opportunity cost. Where can I find a better job that was in my degree? And at that point, it was just business. And so I moved down to Reno to take a job in sales for a liquor distributor. So for me, it was opportunity. There was just more opportunity, better rentals at that time, which we can say up here right now. Rentals are very tough to find for folks. And at that point, even housing was so much cheaper in Reno. It was like, I don't even think we could fathom how cheap housing was in Reno at that point, and now it's not that cheap, but cheaper than Tahoe. So it was just a lot of those things, like how can I start a life that's a little bit easier, which is hard to say. We're going to say a lot of things that are controversial depending on who's watching and what clip we clip, but it was easier to move down to Reno, get better opportunities, better job, lower cost, groceries, gas, everything.
Yeah. On one side, you've got cost of living. On the other side, you've got how much money can you make?
Right.
Reno's better in both aspects.
Both. I mean, not always, right?
Not always.
And I loved what you said the other day, because also a really probably triggering concept too, right? If you're in a place and you want to be in that place, make it work. Find the jobs that work in that area and take opportunities that maybe you're not taking and make it work for yourself. And I think that there's an aspect of that too, right? Like we need to take accountability, and whatever life you want to create for yourself, we have that ability. It's a better time than ever to make more money in our entire world. So maybe take that upon yourself. However, there's just more options. If you're not that person, if you don't want to be in sales, if you don't want to be, whatever.
A business owner.
Yes. There's just more options in Reno, and that's just sheer size.
Yeah. And in parallels to Vegas too, for people in Hawaii, there's a lot of people that move from Hawaii to Vegas.
Yeah.
Reno and Vegas are very, we're talking about them in parallel. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about why, we're going to talk about why it's difficult to live in a vacation destination.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about solutions.
Yeah.
So to get into it, I moved to Tahoe 8 years ago to snowboard for a winter.
Yeah.
And found out that you can actually make money.
Yes.
And potentially live. And so here I am 8 years later with a wife and a baby. And
you had your baby here,
had the baby
starting your family here. So cool.
But it's been, I think for somebody that is looking to make a long-term play in a place like Tahoe, Hawaii, and this is me stating the obvious, but you have to be absolutely down to just grind it out.
Yep.
It's not that vacation destination feeling you get when you visit the first time on the day-to-day.
No.
When you show up and you see the lake or you see the waves or the ocean and the beautiful surroundings, and you're on this euphoric high. When you live here, it's like, I don't go to the beach every day. I don't go hiking every day. I don't snowboard every day in the winter. I don't go to the casino.
Right.
There's life that has to be lived.
Uh-huh.
And don't get me wrong, I would much rather do it here than anywhere else.
Totally.
Or Hawaii than anywhere else.
Yep.
It is worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But what it comes down to is Tahoe and Hawaii are two of the most desirable places in the world.
Yeah.
And in a capitalistic economy,
Yeah.
which how you feel about capitalism or not, it doesn't matter. It's the reality.
It's
We live in
facts.
a capitalistic economy. Competition is everywhere.
Yeah.
And so when there's a limited amount of land like there is in Tahoe, a limited amount of land like there is in Hawaii, and the demand is ever growing, like you're competing with some of the deepest pockets in the world to sustain yourself there. And so you have to be extremely, extremely strategic on how you go about that.
Yeah.
If you expect to just show up and work on the lifts or work at the beach shack and make a great life, like, don't get me wrong, you can have a great life living very minimally.
Yeah.
But if the life you envision is, a home that you own plus money to do extracurriculars without having to worry about it, like you need to be super, super strategic about what you do for work, because it all does come down to your income.
Yep.
You have to be able to sustain a certain level of income to be able to even keep your head above water.
Yes.
And in economies like this that are vacation destinations like Tahoe and Hawaii, there's a couple main industries. There's tourism, of course. There's hospitality. So you're talking hotels, restaurants, Airbnbs. There's real estate.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's not a whole lot. So in how these businesses operate within these industries, so all three of those, there's going to be a business owner for every company, of course. I know I'm stating the obvious, but under that, they have to pay employees.
Yeah.
And in order for that business to survive, they have to pay employees the market rate, which is typically anywhere between $18 to $25 to $30 an hour. For someone that wants to create a long-term lifestyle in one of these places and that doesn't have a remote job or doesn't come in with a bunch of money, you have to strategically move into the business ownership role.
Yeah.
Or find a very high-paying job that your time isn't tied to your pay, such as real estate sales, such as mortgage sales.
Yeah.
Some sales position within these economies.
Yes.
Because if you're just trading time for money, you'll never get there. And that's exactly I was sitting here, I had moved here, and I was about a year into living here. I was 23 at the time, and it was just going through my head like, man, I really want to be here. I really want to be here. What's gonna allow me to sustain myself? Like, okay, I need to buy a place to live. And so at the time it was still much cheaper. You could find a nice condo for $400,000. Now that's not the case. It's even harder now.
It's so hard.
I feel terrible for people trying to break in. But I was making $22 an hour at the time, and I calculated it out. Like, in order to save up for a down payment, I would have had to have worked 10 years and save for 10 years.
Yeah.
And it hit me. I was like, that's never going to work.
Never.
That's never going to work. And so I started looking and, okay, what can I do that's going to increase my income rapidly? And that's where eventually I got into mortgage. The main takeaway for me is, like, if you're someone young or a family that wants to make a life in a place like Tahoe or Hawaii, like, go into it thinking it's going to be extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And go into it. I'm not saying, like, let that ruin your viewpoint of how great it is. Because, again, I would much rather bust my tail to make it work here than be in the suburbs of Fort Worth, Texas, dreaming about going to the mountains or going to the ocean on my 2-week vacation every year.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I would much rather, like, that trade-off. I will make that trade 365 days a year for the rest of my life.
For sure.
It is so worth it.
Yeah. Totally.
But it takes a level of strategy and work ethic and determination to get to the point to where you do sustain yourself well. What are your thoughts?
I think that the hardest part too, and why you generally hear, the backlash from something like this, is that, for this place to sustain in Hawaii, to sustain its desirability, is a workforce that gets paid that, right? So that $20 to $35 or $18 to $30 an hour, those are what that's the wage they're getting paid. And so they're paid on a level that doesn't allow them to live here. So they work here and can't live here. So with that, I completely understand the sentiment being anger, right? And affordable housing and attainable housing is what Lake Tahoe calls it, because it's different. Attainable versus affordable in Reno, like, It's so much higher even for affordable housing here versus other places. So it's a completely different conversation. And that would be the same in Hawaii. It's a level of income that's even higher than median in most areas. And some of those people still can't afford housing. So I get the sentiment and people being frustrated. Like, well, of course, but not everybody can be real estate agents, because then where are you going to go eat? And not everybody can be mortgage lenders, because who's going to clean the hotel rooms? And so I think that that is the biggest point of contention right now, and being super involved in the association, right? So locally at Sierra Nevada Realtors and on the state level at Nevada Realtors, we have these conversations a lot because from our standpoint and just personal views, property rights, right? As real estate agents, mortgage lenders, we advocate for property rights. So we want people to do what they want with the properties they own. If they want to short-term rent them, they should be able to do so. But then you have this whole other conversation, right? How do we keep these places sustained as a tourist destination, one of the top 2 in the country? You know, it's a Lake Tahoe, you still see it always. I love it when I drive in here. And even though I was born and raised in this area and we had a lakefront property, you know, that my parents bought when it was dirt floors, that lake is the most incredible thing you'll ever see. And people come here for that and that experience, to stay at the Hyatt, to stay at the to Edgewood. And so how do we make sure that those people that have that builds that experience for people to come here and make it desirable, make the values go up? How can we make it a place for them to live? And it's a tough conversation. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
And for most points, it is that. It just is what it is. Because Hawaii did what they wanted to do, Maui County, with short-term rentals, and we'll see how that plays out. And it's hotel zoned that people can still short-term rent, which in theory is like, okay, that's great, right? So anything by the hotels, they can still short-term rent because people should be living outside of that area that live there. But it's not enough. And so ultimately, it's like, how do we fix that problem? I am all for going and making your own life and understanding if you want to live in an area, you need to put in the work in order to live there. But like, what's
the breaking point?
Yeah.
And this is where it gets really tough. And I don't even like speaking on solution. I like to talk about the reality of how things are in Hawaii. Tahoe, I'll speak on. I'm not Hawaiian. I'm not from Hawaii.
Nope.
I don't deserve to speak on that. I'm not intelligently educated enough on that. There's plenty of people out there that are. So I'm not going to speak on solutions for Hawaii, but I'll speak on what I see from somebody who is
in Tahoe,
in a similar area that has tried to make it work.
Yeah.
It's an interesting dichotomy because people do need a place to live that work there. But let's play this out. What if people didn't have a place to live that work there? And let's say they stop working there. Then what happens? The businesses start to shut down, right?
Yeah.
Then what happens? The business start to shut down. People stop coming, right?
Yeah.
Then what happens?
It becomes a less desirable place and values go down.
And values go down. But then what? Then it becomes more affordable, right? So it's almost that reset that inevitably has to happen.
Right.
For it all to work.
And even at that point, because then some of these people wouldn't even have jobs.
Or it gets to the point, and let's talk about the short-term rentals real quick. So in Maui County, due to the Lahaina fire, I have a buddy out there who has actually been part of Lahaina Strong. I love this guy to death. He's the coolest, best guy ever. Dakota, shout out. He's been on the Lahaina Strong team. I think it's great that they've, like, I'm all for property rights in most cases, but like in this case, dude, they need, like, people need help, man. People need a place to live.
Yes.
Like, at some point, it needs to not be about the money and about, whatever, right? People need a place to live. And especially in Hawaii, like, I feel for local Hawaiians, especially because it is such a special place
and culturally it's different, right? Like you said,
dude, without the Hawaiian,
we don't want to talk on that, but Hawaiian culture versus Tahoe culture, like, we're not even saying any of that similarity. So I'm glad that you say that, but it's because Tahoe, of course there's locals, but native Hawaiian culture is, I think, what you're playing to, what we're talking about is at what point, like, the money needs to not be a factor. These people need housing.
We just went to Florida. Me and Brian did for a work event. Palm trees, white sandy beaches, waves, all that stuff in Florida, right?
Yeah.
You can go to Costa Rica, get the same thing. What makes Hawaii Hawaii?
Yeah.
is the Hawaiians.
Is the culture. Yeah.
It's the Hawaiians. You don't feel the same when you go to those places.
And no,
it's not the same.
It's not the same. No.
The Hawaiians, there needs to be like, you can't move all the Hawaiians out of Hawaii. It's just not going to be Hawaii.
You know, yeah.
What makes it so great, like it eventually erodes and dissolves and goes away.
Yeah.
Like that way of life, that living off the land and appreciating the ocean and the land, the aina and the energy that, that flows around there, that has to be sustained somehow.
Yeah. I do too. And I do love, like nowadays when we go, because we frequent a lot, we try to do like the volunteer tour, like volunteer tourism or whatever they call it. Like you give back and there's lists of things.
Maybe you could go like clean a beach, or maybe you go clean a hiking trail.
And do different things like remove invasive species. And there's a lot of really cool things now, especially when you go back so frequently.
Ecotourism, I think.
Yeah. And it's wonderful. And I think there's a lot of stuff that we could even mimic here, because beach cleanups after 4th of July are such a staple because it's just trashed. It doesn't even matter. Every single year, trashed. But that kind of thing, I think, is so important for people to go and understand. When you're visiting a place, this isn't just assuming everyone there in this beautiful place has this beautiful life and a ton of money. It's just not the truth. People are there to live, raise families. Culturally in Hawaii, raise families that still have that Hawaiian culture, which is such a special thing that it deserves to be recognized on a different level. Like they should have housing that's affordable or attainable for that population. And that's just no doubt.
There's so many different nuances to it because it's like whack-a-mole. You hit, you solve one problem, but then another one pops up due to the side effects of that original problem being solved. Going back to the short-term rentals. So we saw in South Lake Tahoe, short-term rentals were regulated. I was talking to a guy down there recently, an agent, great guy. He was talking about how the limitation of short-term rentals previously, before the limitation, there was just floods of people coming in, which as a local, you're probably like, oh, this isn't awesome. There's people everywhere.
Yeah.
There's just, there's traffic, all these things that come with a lot of people. There's 6 grocery stores. There's restaurants everywhere. There's people that need to work. Yeah. As soon as the limitations came in, all those people went away. And guess what? The 6 grocery stores couldn't sustain themselves. The restaurants couldn't sustain themselves.
No.
The lumberyard couldn't because no one was fixing up homes anymore.
Yeah.
The painters, all that.
Yeah.
A bunch of people had to get out of town because there was no longer the economy that was sustaining all that.
Yep.
And that's the reset that we're talking about in a way is, maybe that has to happen in some places. And when I think about Incline specifically, the one thing so in Placer County too, they limited short-term rentals. What they found out, so we have a really good friend who has worked for a short-term rental management company. She doesn't anymore, but what she came to us and said, I was having this conversation with her, is that when they limited short-term rentals, the people that bought them and rented them out had enough money to that they just didn't rent them anymore.
Yeah.
So they thought, the legislators thought that limiting the short-term rentals would increase long-term housing.
Would increase housing supply, and it didn't.
It actually limited it even more, and it crushed the economy.
Yeah.
So these places are so desirable. People with a lot of money, and for the record, people with a lot of money are not the enemy.
No.
There's no enemy here.
There's no enemy.
There's no enemy. I don't care how much money you have.
No.
Like, it doesn't matter. Those people worked hard to get that money too, and they want to live a good life too.
Yep.
People with a lot of money will still go buy houses.
Will still go do it.
So even if you limit all these things, or if businesses go out of business or what have you, right? Will it actually make things more affordable?
No.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I don't know if that's a card I want to see played.
No, for sure. Yeah. And I think that, echoing what you said too, there's nobody at fault here. I think naturally in these areas, if they're going to point blame at anything, it's the fact that they're amazing. Right. So they're beautiful. The white sandy beaches, the palm trees, the beautiful Lake Tahoe with snow-capped mountains in the middle of summer. That's something that people want to see. So that's the problem here, right? Yeah. It's a beautiful place that people want to be a part of.
If you don't want it to be expensive, then don't have clean air, clean water, clean snow. A lot of things to do.
Yeah. And people from a wide range of life want to be at these places, whether it's vacation or live and work. I mean, it doesn't matter. So that's the problem. And I think we don't have enough evidence to say that short-term rental limitations are going to help what the problem is. We just don't. And overwhelmingly, the evidence that they do have is no, it doesn't help. And these people aren't going to take their homes off from VRBO to then go rent it to a local. They just don't. They just keep them and they visit them when they want. So that's a huge thing.
It actually hurts things.
It hurts things.
Because then now that person that was going to come into town to visit in that short-term rental is now no longer coming to town. Or maybe they are, but they're having to go elsewhere.
Yeah, and it's different. And I think even when we go, and then coming up from Reno, okay, for now, I love, it actually feels better for me to come up here because I do go to the beach. And it doesn't feel like...
appreciate it.
Yeah, you appreciate it. And it's more of like, we're taking a day to enjoy it, as opposed to this is just where I live. But what do we enjoy about it? Like going to teas, going to these restaurants that we know and love, Big Water, and seeing these places flourish. If that wasn't here, like there's a lot of things we wouldn't want to come up for. Imagine Diamond Peak closing. I mean, that's a big reality to economy shifting to some of these resources not being available. So when you go visit these towns, the things you love and know are gone. And when we go back to Hawaii, you see that, like that place has shut their doors. And I think that that's a reality that people should really think about too, is trying to sustain a healthy economic, just in general, just healthy economics, having people come and go and contribute to the local economy and blah, 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 blah. I don't know. And that's why we're not here to talk about a solution, because I don't know that there's an easy one. I think there's better guidance when it comes to programs available to people that they can take advantage of with down payment assistance, even in these higher markets, like looking for condos that might make sense. There's opportunities that may not be your number one choice, but there's certainly opportunities. And we talk about that in Reno too. People that want a forever home for their first home. No.
Right.
Let's talk about what's available for the resources you currently have or how we can get you there. So I think that kind of like going back to what we first started talking about, like what are some opportunities to enhance your financial well-being, or maybe readjust some expectations about where you're going to be. I tell a lot of people, because we get this conversation, well, I'm considering Tahoe and I want to be under whatever, 600.
You're a condo.
You're in a condo, or you're in Myers.
Yeah.
Or you're in Christmas Valley. There's a lot of things, even though it's California.
If you're close to the lake, you're in a condo.
Yeah, but even out there's more opportunities in Myers and Christmas Valley than there will be here because of California, right? And there has a little bit of a price reduction because of the taxes and people leaving, right? So there's a lot of those opportunities that people need to think about. Maybe it is worth you exploring some of those things.
Yeah, exploring other opportunities, absolutely. So I kind of want to wrap this up with, if you're looking to live in a highly desirable place, whether it's Tahoe, Hawaii, San Diego, San Francisco,
New York.
I mean, you can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
If you're expecting to just cruise through it work-wise and just work, bare minimum job, and just kind of more live to play instead of live to work, which I'm not saying life's all about working, but I think the expectation should not be like, you shouldn't be waving your fist in the air saying like, I deserve to buy a house. Cause that's just not reality.
It's not reality.
It's such a competitive marketplace. Yeah. These are the most desirable places in the world. Like, it's just not the reality we live in.
No.
But if you do want to buy a house and you want to like really try to go for it, you have to figure out how to get into a role that's where your money's not tied to your time. Yep. So you either have to be in a sales role that has high leverage, such as, in the real estate industry, or some other sales role, or be a business owner. I mean, those are the two solutions.
Yeah.
I just think going into it with a mindset of and seeing reality as it is important.
Well, and I think like people, like, again, going back to the assumption, if you're talking about Tahoe or all these nice places and people just assuming they should be able to buy a house. I mean, go to Reno. People can't buy homes in Reno. This isn't like an isolated incident, right? So, and I'd have this conversation, but if you have the conversation in Reno, it doesn't sound like entitled, right? When you have it in Reno, it's like, well, what are we going to do to get your credit up? What are we going to do to get you in a better financial situation? And that's an okay conversation. So I do think that like having people kind of maybe break down that level of judgment, like it's not a wealthy versus non-wealthy issue. And the conversations that you and I have, that we get to have with people about their financial health and how we can better that in today or the future is so valuable. And just like what Brian and we were talking about before, go with people that are going to give you advice that's trusted. And that's what we do, because it may not be the day to buy, but I'm going to sit you down and tell you, in any economy, whether it's here and licensed in California, whether it's Myers or Reno or Sparks, if you want to buy a house and for X amount of money, we have to talk about the realities. Where can you be? Is it a condo? Is it a manufactured home? Maybe we take you to Fernley. I mean, if homeownership is your dream, maybe we think about other areas, or we think about changing your financial situation. And all of it is doable. And I think we've talked about that too. We live in a time where there is a lot of personal freedom to use your time wisely, to live the life of your dreams, whatever that dream looks like. And
it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
But don't go waving your fist in the air and carrying your pitchforks.
No.
Because you're mad at people that buy homes in Tahoe and you can't.
Yeah.
It's not their fault. Like, they worked hard for that, just like you're trying to work hard for your dream. And it's nobody's fault that these places are beautiful and everyone wants to be there. It's just when you live in this type of world where it's based on competition, it's just like it's supply and demand. When there's more demand than there is supply, guess what? It's harder to get into.
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah.
Like, don't be mad.
Don't be mad.
Stop being mad. Like, go figure out how to do something about it. Other people have figured it out. You can figure it out.
Yeah.
If you want. If you don't want to, that's fine too. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Like, do whatever you want to do. I don't care. I don't care. But don't be mad. Like, that doesn't help anybody.
No.
And don't be mad at the people that, anyways.
Totally.
Enough of my rant. That's the side of shade not many people see.
But it's a good point. And it's a very, I changed my life, and the best part about changing it was realizing that I was both the problem and the solution.
You're in control. Yes.
So you can change you can change your situation any day you want.
We live in the American dream has changed. In my opinion, the American dream has changed. And if you're a real estate professional and you hear this, don't get sideways with me now. The American dream has changed. For our parents, the American dream was buy an affordable home in a nice place, live on a single income, raise a family, and everything's going to be good. And that was totally doable. That is not the case. It is not the case. You need, in many places, you need dual incomes.
Yes.
The mom has to work full time while raising a baby. It's just so much more difficult now. It's less affordable now to buy a home than it ever has been in the history of the United States of America.
Yep.
In my opinion, if you're a young person and you want to live your dreams, don't worry about buying a home.
No.
You know what the American dream is now?
Yeah.
We live in the greatest time in history to start a business, to learn how to make more money,
totally,
to learn how to live wherever you want to live and work from there, whether you work remotely or whether you find a job in a local economy. If you want to move to Bali and work remotely, like, you can do that. People do that. If you want to move to Hawaii and work from there and work in the local, you do that.
Yeah.
Like, it's all figure outable.
Yeah.
To me, the American dream now is the fact that we are more mobile now than ever, and we can live and do whatever we want to do.
That's right.
And our parents didn't have that.
No.
If they wanted to figure out how to start a business, they either had to know somebody or they had to go to the library and, God forbid, find a book on the shelf that was going to tell them how to do it.
Didn't just pull out their handy dandy computer on their mobile device.
Yeah, we have it's
everything at our fingertips.
We have everything at our fingertips to figure stuff out. And so, guys, if you want to live in Tahoe or want to live in Hawaii, but you want to cruise and you want to surf or snowboard and work at a restaurant or the lifts or the beach or whatever, dude, I don't even worry about buying a house.
Yeah, don't, for sure. And there's
just focus on living a good life.
Living a good life.
Buying a house is not everything it's cracked up to be anyway. There's other ways to build your wealth.
There's an amazing guy on a lot of podcasts right now. I think it's Dan Felix. I don't know. He talks about this too, why buying a house is not the right investment. And I'll be the first person to say that. For some people, it's not.
No.
And it's if you look at the cost of renting versus owning and if it doesn't make sense for you, don't do it. And there's a lot of ways to invest money to secure your future that isn't just real estate. Now, I'm an advocate for it, but there's a lot of ways to do it. You don't need to.
In my opinion, if you're a first-time home buyer, this is for you. First-time home buyers listening here. if you're looking to build wealth, which I think most first-time home buyers are, buying a ready-to-go turnkey property with minimum down payment and just letting appreciation ride is not it. It is not it.
No.
It's not it. Not right now. Your costs, your interest costs, your maintenance costs, all those costs.
Yeah.
Like appreciation is just not awesome right now in most markets. So if that's your move, I don't know if I would do it. But if your move is to find a fixture upper and you're a little handy and you can paint the walls and you can lay the flooring and you can change doorknobs, like, dude, that's your key.
That's your
do
key.
That.
Do
Go
that.
find the fixture upper, buy it with minimum down, and then sell it in a year or two, and then do it again.
Do it again.
Real estate is still good in certain pockets.
Yep.
Now that's for the first time home buyer, right? With minimum down payment. If you've got a lot of down payment and like it doesn't.
It opens up some different things.
It's much cheaper. Like the math pencil is way better, but I know that's not a popular take because real estate's how we make our money. But if you're young and you want to make as much money as possible, real estate's not it right now.
No,
in my opinion. Go start a business, a side hustle, learn how to increase your income. Invest in you. Invest in your skills.
100%. 100%. I mean, I didn't even get into real estate until I was 28. And like, life, it depends. Like, I think when we're young, you got to invest in yourself, whether that's school, experiences, moving around, seeing the world, meeting people, doing whatever you want to do and trying to figure out where you want to land. That's most valuable. I think like trying to figure out buying your first house at 25, maybe not.
It's not that big a deal.
It's not that big of a deal.
Like I think renting is great.
It is.
We bought a place here and we rent it out, but we rent somewhere else because we want something bigger. And the rental payment on it is like half what the mortgage payment would be.
Yes.
Like it doesn't make sense to buy it.
Yeah.
It doesn't. We're happy renting.
Yeah.
And guess what? If this place sucks, guess what? We can move out. And wipe our hands clean.
Yeah,
it doesn't
absolutely.
matter. So like, I think renting's great. I think it gets a terrible stigma around it. And people think like they're not successful if they don't buy a home.
Right.
Dude, I think we got to get over that.
You got to get over that. It's so circumstantial. And there's a lot of like buying, renting that home that you own and renting it. Like there's so many ways that you can play this game out. It doesn't need to be what we assume. Like I think that the assumptions are what is killing us.
Oh yeah.
I think that's what caused divides. I think understanding that there can be multiple truths in all of these situations. But even though we make money on buying and selling homes, I make more money having better relationships with people and advising them what's best for them.
Totally.
And that isn't necessarily selling. I say that all the time. And it isn't necessarily buying. Rent is amazing.
Yeah.
And you know what's more amazing? Living a life that you want to live.
That's the key.
Choosing Hawaii, choosing Tahoe, do it. But understand there's some ramifications. But even Reno nowadays, Nevada's expensive.
There's a cost to everything.
There's a cost. Choose your hard.
You can't, you have to choose your hard. There's a cost to everything in life. I do want to ask one question. I think people, this is a little bit of a tough question. What effect do realtors have on vacation destinations when it comes to pumping prices?
Ooh, this is interesting.
Is it a problem?
I think that instinctually you say, okay, well, appraisers are there for a reason, but appraisers aren't always involved in tourism.
And appraisers also typically just come in at the purchase price.
Yeah, but they're not, and they're not now. I mean, I just had an appraisal that was $250,000 short.
Ooh.
Yeah,
nice.
And so and then you have the argument, like, are those people trying to control prices too? When we had 3 offers.
Is there a bias there? Yeah.
So is there a bias? And
you had 3 offers and it came in $250 low?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And all offers were above?
Were above the appraised value by 100.
Wow.
So
the market is what people are willing to pay for it.
That's exactly right.
So that appraiser is way off.
Way off.
Yeah.
So we have to understand supply and demand is what drives pricing. I can go list a house for $2 million because I want to, or the seller wants, or the dog wants to. If somebody's only going to pay $1.2 million, that's what it's worth. But if somebody walked in the door and said, I'm going to pay 2.1, 100% that's what it's worth. So I think we can try, but we find out very quickly by the market, I don't dictate price unless I'm buying it. The buyer's market dictates the price. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of us do a really good job at factoring in a slew of things, like, of course, comps, of course, aspirational pricing, all of this new construction. We have lot premiums. We have all of this stuff that factors in. And we're not, I guess should speak to myself, but I also know a lot of people in this industry, and we're well-intentioned and do really good. We're good at our jobs. It's well-intentioned. Like, we know our jobs, we know the market, and we price things. We do so accordingly. There's always sellers that want a little bit more, and there's buyers that want a little less. But ultimately, supply and demand incline. It's a demand place, and the prices still keep going up.
Yeah, I wanted to ask that question to be able to give you the air to speak about and give that point of view. For people that think realtors are the problem, I want to tell you this. Realtors help people transact. Buyers are going to pay what buyers are going to pay.
Yep.
Realtors cannot force people to pay certain prices.
Nope.
And so therefore realtors do not control prices. You know what sells houses and vacation destinations mainly? All the ski videos, surf videos, hikes.
Yes.
People don't move out here because they see a realtor talking about how awesome a house is. They move out here because they saw Jimmy G's ski video that looks awesome. And it's
epic,
like, where's that at? Oh, Lake Tahoe? Sweet.
Yeah, I'm going there.
I got to go there. Wow, what do houses cost? Oh, wow. Okay, I can buy that. Sure.
Yeah.
It's not the realtor.
It's not the realtor.
It's not the realtor.
It's the demand. Yeah.
It's not the realtor.
No.
So people that think realtors are the problem, get over yourself. You got to fix it.
I'm sorry.
Fix the attitude.
We're not the problem.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of great realtors out there, like Jena, right? A lot of great people, great people.
Really,
and there's plenty of slimy. There's plenty of slimy people out there.
In every industry.
In every industry,
100%.
correct. But realtors are not the problem. They're not force feeding houses or siphoning money from people's bank accounts to buy houses at ridiculous prices. That's not how that works. So guys, we gotta get a reality check on how you view real estate agents. It's not good. You guys need a reality check.
Come on, be nice.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, Jena, I think we should wrap it up. Thanks for coming back.
Thank you. This is always great. Thanks, Shay.
If you guys want to work with Jena Lanini, her contact info is in the description below.
Yes.
Peace.
Peace.